Welcome back, everybody. This is Urst McGravel. With me is Mike. And for our very first episode of Urst Meets World, we are ready to begin this incomprehensible game as far as he's concerned. So he's told me he's a bit nervous about learning this game after last week's review of the simple, straightforward game that is Dwarf Fortress. Um, Basically Tetris with dwarves.
Yeah, that's basically what it's like.
Basically.
I'm glad you said it's incomprehensible because I'm really looking forward to not knowing what I'm doing.
It's fine. It's
It's going to be
fine.
great.
Listen, worst case scenario, everyone dies horrifically. We laugh and we start over. Remember the losing is fun. That's what we say in Dwarf Fortress. Losing is fun.
I'm
So,
struggling with this. I can't
uh,
wait to
all right.
figure out how to lose gracefully. Okay.
So, why don't you do me a favor and click that create new world because you need your own world to play in.
And it's so much text already. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Guide your... Okay, I clicked it. I'm into it. I didn't read it in depth at all.
So here's where. So first thing we got to do is, and I asked Mike to do this. Click on the mods button in the bottom right corner.
Here we are.
And you'll see you have the no aquifers mod. All the way to the left, there's a little. So
there he is.
Click that arrow, and that'll add it onto the list of all those things. Okay. That's all you have to do. That's how you add a mod into the game. So later on, if there's other mods you want to add, you can do this. But you have to add mods at world creation, and then they're burned into that world. So,
got it. Okay.
Good. Now you can click back on the basic options button.
All right.
Basic options. There you go.
Here we go.
So let's talk through these real quick. You see, these are all the defaults. These are the same defaults the main game always had, except for mineral occurrence was always rare in the old game. They've made out it everywhere. I think everywhere
make it a little bit harder. Sure.
I think everywhere's like cheating and almost annoys me. I frequently turn it down to like sparse these days, but why don't you just set it to frequent? Frequent is fine.
I'm doing this for the first time, so I'm happy with
that. Rare means you'll usually get like one type of ore. So you may like show up place and all you get is zinc, or like and
natural savagery is an option here.
We're gonna get to that. So let's start with world size. There's obviously multiple sizes.
Yes.
Medium's the standard. I think medium is fine. The big difference with this is how many civilizations you'll get, how big the map is, obviously.
Right.
And then from a performance standpoint, whenever it goes to save the game, it's going to struggle longer with a large map because it has literally thousands of more events that it has to log that took place. So
I have like a Pentium 2. So just bear that in mind.
so small or medium, we could probably leave it at medium is fine. Okay. History length. The shorter it is, the more fantastic beasts you're still going to have left, right? Because at World Generation, it creates all these mythical beasts. And then as civilizations rise, they occasionally slay them. Now, of course, the mythical beasts slay civilizations too, but you'll watch as the ages change. So in the beginning, if you go 5 years, you still have all the original dragons, all the original titans, all the original giants. So you have a lot more, but you have less people, less civilization. There's been less wars. There's less books. There's less history going on. As you go on, you have less fantastical things, but you're more likely to have the struggles of civilization and necromancers, because necromancers are very successful in this game.
Many dead,
and the more dead they have, the stronger they get, until eventually, like at 1,000 years, half the world are just undead working for necromancers. So
that's how it felt like working through COVID. I feel you.
Yeah. So
what about 50 years? I'd love to see some of the mythical, or do you think 100 years is good?
No, 50 years is fine. I would avoid 5 years. I think 50 years still has lots of cool stuff going on.
I don't need like God's hand coming down and pushing me into the ground or anything.
50 years is cool. And the longer you go, the more it takes your computer to process the history. And you'll see it slows down more and more the more people it has to keep track of.
It's one of the challenges of having a 386S. Okay.
So, number of civilizations just tells how many starting civilizations, right? So with very high on a medium, they might make a dozen different dwarf civilizations. They may fight and wipe each other out, but they start with a lot more. Very low means, hey, they'll start with one dwarf civilization and one goblin civilization. We see what happens. So we'll leave that at medium.
That's good. I really thought you were just going to stick with one dwarf. I'm like, that's grim, man.
Just one dwarf, hoping for the best.
Okay, I'm going to make it work. All right, number of sites.
Same thing. We'll leave it at medium again. It's how many cities, how many create places. Number of beasts. Again, this is the number of mythical beasts we start with. If you want just amazing number of mythical things running around, set it to high.
All right, I'm going to set it to high. I like my myth. I'll be happy to see a griffin or two flying around.
Just the worst thing you could encounter is actually like a rock. The ROC that they will just decimate you. But there are hydras; those are good to fight too.
I jest, I joke. Let's be brave on this one. What
Okay,
the heck? I'm going to die anyway.
natural savagery.
I love
Each
this.
each
That's my
map
favorite.
section has a certain amount of savagery to it. It's either extraordinarily calm and peaceful and only has like chipmunks in it,
That's why I
or it
play.
goes all the way out to like these gigantic mutant versions of the animals that will just mess you up. Like we're talking like giant elephants, like basically every animal at
The
giant. So
elephants from Tolkien. Yeah,
take
dude.
take a standard animal and make them 10 times as big. That's what you get with really high savagery.
I don't like that. How about I'll stick with medium.
Medium, good.
I can handle medium savagery.
And like I said, mineral occurrence tells you how much ore you get, different things like that. I think frequent's a good place to go.
Yeah, I agree. I don't
So
like sparse. I need my lithium
no,
to get
no,
my cars.
you want everything. Good.
Okay.
Hit a create world here, and let's see what happens.
Okay. It's loading the. Oh boy, it's already it's already chugging here a little bit, isn't it? It's
Oh,
like
it hasn't
Daddy's
even.
got to get some RAM.
Yeah, we might need to upgrade
Preparing
your
graph.
computer if we continue this. We'll set your population max to 10 dwarves. 10.
Is your computer faster than this, John? Is this supposed to take this long to go across the screen?
No, no, it is
Oh,
not.
oh no, it's really stuck on the vanilla world map.
It'll be. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna
So
be
no,
okay.
I don't know.
So it's
Okay,
now literally creating the world from. So it
two
procedurally generates a
rejected.
world. Well, yeah, because what it
They're
is
rejected
first it
already.
randomly creates a world and then it checks it against parameters of are there enough volcanoes or not too many volcanoes? Are there enough rivers, not too many rivers? What's the drainage
This
like to
is
make sure everything?
awesome.
And you could pause this at
It's
any
running me
time,
through the
but it's
history.
creating its own history. You see how many events it's now logged, and that's it. So it created 50 years of history.
I
And
can't get over that.
now,
That is so cool.
before you do anything, if you look down at the bottom, it says WAS
Yep.
WASD. If you use that on your keyboard, you can move around the map now.
Okay. Oh, old school.
Okay,
Yes.
and now if you take your mouse and mouse over an area, you can learn about that area. So stop there and just move your mouse around. You can see like those are goblin pits, the things that kind of look like brown stains.
Yeah.
those are dark goblin pits. Okay,
Or what I call my backyard after rainfall.
but each of them has its own procedural name. You can see the different,
Tropical.
tropical, temperate. They have colder and warmer areas. You can see what kind of soil you have, what ore there
Discoveries.
is in each one of these locations.
Yeah, look at this. The crested family, there's families behind it. This is great. Oh
So if you
man.
kind of move down, you can see some of the other things. So like I see in the mountains a little south of you, or
Okay,
back
yep,
north a
there
little bit.
we go.
Back north a
Alright.
little bit. All right.
It's like this
Let's see.
range right here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see if you have any dwarf buildings inside those, but we'll find some. You know what? We're good. So
Yeah.
this is your world, and if you click play now,
Oh, oh, okay. Oh
it
boy.
now needs to
Awesome.
unload all of those historic units. So there is now a capture of 2,100 historical heroes, villains, mayors, random dancers in
Awesome.
bars. Okay, so all captured here.
All right.
Now,
So selecting
there are
game control.
currently there's only 2 or 3 modes available right now. Fortress is the game. Legends let you actually read through that history. So some people like to just look through the history and it's all linked. So you can go into civilization, find a person, click on their name, you'll see where they were, click the other places they were, see the people who were at that place, click on those people, see how they died. You now can have the whole history of this world at your fingertips. If you just wanted to write a novel, you have an instantly created world with characters ready to
That's
go.
unbelievable. I mean, this is brilliantly done. I just can't get over how much work went into creating this thing. That's incredible.
Yeah, 20 years. So
Yeah. I can't even read a book for more than like a half hour now. Oh, music's kicking in.
Yep.
My processor just caught up. All right, so I should be clicking Fortress then.
Click on Fortress.
Okay.
It's now going to advance the calendar 15 days, and it's actually calculating people doing things for 15 days.
Which is what I feel like I'm going through watching this on the screen. Okay. Quick start and short tutorial
No,
question.
we're gonna skip that
Yeah,
tutorial. That is a
as I normally would.
yeah,
Okay,
and
on
as
your
you
own.
you're on your own. It does warn you.
I feel like I'm in one of those videos where people are spinning around very quickly and their face is going like this. That's what this is reminding me of. Please heed the embark warnings about aquifer, saltwater, and other hazards. Okay. All right, let's hear. Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Here we are. We're in the murk of evening.
So yeah, each region has its own areas. The continents have their own names. So we're going to pay attention to there's multiple different biomes, right? You can see temperate conifer forest,
Mhm.
mountains, oceans, plains, swamps,
Little island
etc.
over here. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So
Swamps.
the
Yep.
things we want to look for, we've turned off aquifers, which immediately makes the game a little easier.
Okay.
We're going to want a place that has some water. We're going to
Okay.
want a place that has some trees.
I
You're
mean, I'm
prob
liking this little area over here, even though these are not
okay.
friends, right?
So
These are
we're gonna look at we're
shrubland,
gonna look at
savanna. Oh, yeah.
so
This
surroundings,
is
wilderness is fine, calm is fine. Untamed wilds get a little more challenging. You
okay.
don't want haunted, because in a haunted biome, if you kill something, it comes back to life and tries to kill you again. So it could be more
Yes.
challenging for the first time player. Now, before you do anything, click at the bottom. You see choose origin civilization.
Yes. Okay.
So these are the different dwarven civilizations that exist, and you can see the blue boxes around where their places are. So this civilization has about 1,000 people in it, and they have 11 sites, and that's where they're located on the map. Click on one of the other ones.
Let's try the Hall of Carnages. So they're in the
They
north.
only have
Okay.
390 people left in 6 sites, so they're not doing great, but we're only 50 years in. Maybe they just didn't expand as well, right?
Nope.
Next
Nope.
guy,
They're dying for sure. The Clean Sphere.
96, 2 sites.
Although they must, I wonder if they were fighting with the Hall of Carnage because I wonder if they're not that far.
They
Okay,
could have.
these folks are not far from where I was looking, right? The Hammers of Sacrificing.
So so that might be a good option, is that finding a civilization closer to you means that if you start engaging in various wars,
Which I anticipate.
they may be closer to help you. A very small civilization, the problem with small civilization is that if they lose a fortress, one of your people may suddenly become a king, and it's you think that's good. Um,
It sounds
nobles
fun.
nobles are a pain in the ass because they have demands.
Yes, they are.
And all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, that like shed you called my room? No, I'm the king now, and I'm gonna need a throne room, or I'm gonna have a hissy fit." And so you
I'm
generally want to pick a larger, more stable civilization. What's the top one? The Murky Gates. How big are they?
Murky Gates. All right.
810.
810. Good
They're good,
size.
and they're close to where you were looking too.
They've
So
got trees. They've got rocks, land. They're bordered here, if that means anything
so
yet, which I
so
don't know.
I think the Murky Gates looks like a pretty good group for you
Got
to
a
work
queen
with.
too. Godin Padlock. Gotta love that. All right,
So
Godin.
you can now right click to get back out of that.
Okay. There we are. All right.
And so now we're back into looking around. So if you find a general area of a map you like, you click on it, it'll now zoom in to find closer look,
Ooh.
right?
Okay.
Now, each of these broken into squares. You can't see the squares that easily, but as you move your cursor along, you'll kind of see where it jumps to different
Uh-huh.
types of land.
Yep.
If you click the embark button, we'll
Okay.
unclick it in a second, but click the embark button and you start moving around, you now see that's a 4 by
Oh,
4
I see.
embark. That will be your local map. Now, first thing I think you should do is make that a 3 by 3. Again, you have
Okay.
a less processor. So click up there, you see the arrows that go the other way. Now
Oh,
they actually go towards each other. It's a
why
weird
are they
graphic.
doing it?
There you go. As
Why?
in make it bigger or make it smaller. So you make it
Ah,
bigger, make it small. So now
I
3 by
know that
3.
was logical to someone.
Yeah.
They weren't deliberately trying to screw with me.
Why
Okay,
make why
so
make number up and down when you can make
think bigger.
squeezy or expandy?
This
So,
makes sense. All
okay.
right, so I've got 3 by 3. I've got the
Now,
zoomed in view here.
you're probably going to want to now if you right or click on the abort button just for
Okay,
now.
I went through all that work.
Well, because now you know how big your box is. You can move your cursor around, find a place. Now I see it looks like a brook is the kind of the narrower river.
This little doodad
And you
here.
can see it names it. That's the brook. The violence of juggling is the name of the brook.
That's sharp. I really like that. And what is it's that's a tributary of
That's the stream of Page Seed.
there it is.
Page Seed, the stream.
All right, which itself is just a branch of where am I looking
No,
here?
that's still that's
Oh,
still
it's the
Page Stream.
same
So
damn
I
cog.
don't know how you
Very
can
disappointing.
you can drag the whole thing down. If you have a 3-button mouse, you can click the middle button and drag it down like and try to find where it branches off to.
I'm using a
So
mouse pad. This isn't going to get me anywhere.
you could also
I'm
use
keyboard baby.
WASD, but
I
you can
am using
see
WASD.
so you can move around the entire continent slowly in this mode if you really want. But
Now, I'm seeing here it says humans nearest site a half day's travel southwest hostile. So, oh no, goblins are
the
hostile.
goblins are hostile. Goblins are almost always hostile. So this tells you
Okay,
how far away they are. The closer they are, the more likely they are to bug you.
2 days travel. Okay, I think that's not bad.
That's fine. That's perfectly reasonable. Having the elves and humans even as neighbors means they may come and trade with you, which could be good. Although dwarves and elves don't get along, and sometimes we just kill them for the fun of it and to take their stuff because they're kind of a pain in the ass. They don't like you to cut down
Sure.
trees. They yell at you about that, and you're like, "Well, I guess I have to kill you now." And so,
Do you think there's like a dwarven like a talk show where they invite elves on? The elves are always yapping about cutting down the trees. Then they get a dwarf on. The dwarf's like, "Screw your trees." That's
and
what I.
that and then they close the doors and flood the chamber and kill everybody. That's probably how it works.
Isn't that to the lever and it floods
Yeah.
everything? Start over. Okay, so
So again, things we're going to pay attention to. Surroundings are calm in this area, and that's great. It means you're not going to have any crazy animal. You know, you're not going to wake up and like there's some giant alligators ripping apart your woodcutters.
oh good.
Uh,
So it's not
uh,
Florida. We got that going for
you
us.
always want at least some trees. So woodland's great. Sparse is probably fine, but it just means we have to make more stuff out of rock. But there are a few things you need wood for. You need wood for beds. That's the only thing you really can't recreate is beds.
If I have 2 takeaways now from our last episode and this one, it's that you need socks and beds, and that's literally it so far.
If you have those two things, you're not going to die right away.
You're set. Okay,
So, temperature of cold, the only thing that matters temperature there is that how many months a year your water source may be frozen over. So
okay.
in like temperate, maybe the wintertime, the rivers may freeze. So if you need access to water, that could be rough. If it's always cold, you may lose it for 9 months a year. If it's freezing, you may never have access to fresh water, even though you have, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink kind of situation.
And that is really brilliant because when it goes into the trees, it says it's cold, but when it's
Yes.
actually out here in the savannah, it's temperate. That's
There's
really
there's
funny.
all these different biomes that play together. So, and you can
Yeah,
cross biomes with your embark area, so you can have some trees and some savanna, and kind of get a little benefit of both.
that's what I'm
So,
liking here. Okay, all right.
so at this point, I think pick a spot, buddy.
Okay, so I'm gonna do my best here.
Oh, one
I'm
more
liking.
thing. I'm sorry. One more thing. At the
Am I dead
bottom,
already?
yeah. At the bottom, you see show elevation and show cliffs. If you click on one, it'll kind of toggle it on. Elevation just means how high up you are. And the greener you get, the closer you are to the very bottom of the earth, which means you have less room to kind of dig down in. And then if you click on the show cliffs, you can see where it's flat versus where it's very, hilly or mountainy.
I respect the amount of time and effort they put into this because it does actually seem like modern day technology, and yet it's horrifying at the exact same time. I thought my computer blitzed, and you were just merrily talking along, and I'm like,
This
"Oh God,
is
does he see it? Is it bad?"
no, it looks exactly like it's supposed to. So anyway, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot right now. It looks like you're going to probably pick a generally flattish area, and that's fine. We're going to dig down. We're going to dig greedily, and we're going
Okay.
to see what happens.
All right. So am I embarking? I'm
Click
embarking.
on the embark button, and that's going to give you back your box, your 3 by
Yeah,
3,
I've got my
and
three
we're going
by three.
yeah, go in, not out.
Okay.
and find a place that generally says you have some trees that's calm and is temperate.
Okay, so I've got it. I've got trees here. It's woodland. It's
Oh,
temperate.
I would try to put the box over a river of some sort if you can.
Okay, I mean
It could be
it's
on the
okay.
bottom,
It's
maybe through the middle,
way.
however you want it to be. But
Um, you know what? I'll throw these guys over here. How far away are the elves? They're a day. The humans are a half day, and the goblins are 3.
good.
So I'm
Looks
feeling
good
good
to me.
about
And it's
this,
nice and
right?
calm. This is great.
Yeah.
This is a
Oh
perfect spot.
man, look at I'm winning already.
Now,
What?
so
I thought I was just going to start digging.
no.
A foolish human.
I've made a lot of videos on how to properly prepare for an embark. I mean, you could just say play now, and it gives you a bunch of random stuff that makes you generally successful.
Got it. So you can choose. So if I were doing these choices myself, and I haven't committed to doing this yet, so enemies off, normal, hard. Off is boring, of course.
Off
Hard
is
sounds
boring.
horrible. So I want normal, right?
Normal.
Seems good.
Yep. Economy will go by normal. I think I haven't played with this much yet. This is kind of new. Is that there were some situations where it was very easy to buy out the entire trade caravan if you knew the right things to make, and mostly it involved like cooking local leaves at the right way, and and like, hey, I have like 10 of these roasts that I've made out of
Well,
turkey eggs and
sure.
spinach, and they're
Yeah.
like, we will give you all of our gold.
So it's basically the equivalent of Instagram for dwarves.
so
Take my
So
money.
I think hard says no. Actually, they won't give you anything for your stuff. So you'll give them like all of your work for a year, and they'll give you a couple trinkets. And some people are like,
Like real
finally,
life.
the
Okay.
game is challenging. So we'll leave that at normal for now.
Yeah, I don't need that kind of challenge.
Okay.
That stress I don't need in my life.
If you click play now, they give you 7 random dwarves and a bunch of default skills and equipment. But we're not going to do that. We're going to click prepare for the journey carefully.
I've known you for many years, John, and I'm not shocked at all that that's what you do. You are a careful man. All right, so here's our dwarves, right? So
So
they
you,
give us the names already. They're
th-
pre-named.
they give them default names. You will be able to rename them, and I recommend we do. When we get into the game, you can rename and give everybody nicknames.
Okay.
These are all currently peasants because they have no skills, but as you can see, you have 10 skill points to allocate
Okay,
to
this
them.
feels familiar to me. This is like a Final Fantasy-ish sort of thing where we can allocate and get started.
Now,
Okay.
we can go real deep and read all of their personalities and thoughts and traits.
I do want to see at least one.
Okay, good.
I mean, that sounded
Click on the
great.
first guy. Click view next to the first guy.
Limmel Udarith.
Let's
talk
learn about
about
Limmel, okay? He's 64 years
64.
old, guy, healthy. He
Okay.
values perseverance and
Okay.
introspection.
Long walks on the beach.
He's
gotcha.
not easily depressed. That's a nice, good thing.
I wish I knew more people like that.
His first
Okay.
quote is, "One should always respect the law."
I am liking this guy already, but he does have no job.
Well, we'll get him a job.
Yes.
We'll get him a job.
So
If you-
he seems pretty solid, right? But so
Yeah.
he has all
Now,
this
now, one thing I do pay attention to a lot is click on personality,
Yeah, I figured.
and then click on values.
Physical sense. All right. Oh, there's a sub menu.
Of course, there are.
Oh my god. Like others in his culture, he crafts dwarfship to be the highest ideals. Okay, yes, good.
Now-
He's a dwarf. That makes sense.
I think most importantly, you want to look at the yellow writing. What is they each have kind of a dream.
Ugh.
Now-
Everybody wants to make the Mona Lisa.
Here's what matters though. Some dwarves just dream of raising a family, right? So you can give them a job that doesn't involve any real craftsmanship, and they're perfectly fine. So I find the guy who wants to raise a family. Good news, you're my farmer. He's happy. He plants seeds. He makes
Okay.
beer. He goes home to his
providing.
family. This guy's
Sounds
going
like
to
a
want
dream.
to work with his hands. He's going to be a stone carver. He's going to want to be an engraver. He's going to want to be one of those things. And that can be met by almost crafting of any kind, right? He wants to make something that people are going to look at and go, "Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome."
Okay.
So
All right.
so click on skills now for this guy, and we need to find him a job. Well, I mean the other skills. You can still look
wait,
through these. That's fine.
wait,
This is about
hold on.
him.
Okay. So
Go
which
left, back over to your
skills?
citizen list.
Oh God. Okay. Oh, those skills. Yes. Okay.
Now
Got
we can give him some valuable skills. Now, as I've mentioned on my channel, you can quite frankly you can embark with just 7 no skill losers and still
Mhm.
be fine. But given the opportunity, we might as well
Might as
bring
well. Yeah.
some good people with us. So the first crucial ones are the ones they believe are pretty valuable, and I tend to think one of the most important is a carpenter and a stone carver.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Okay,
I'm with you.
so you could throw up to 5 points in those.
I'm liking adequate. I'm liking adequate. It's good for
Okay,
me.
okay, so
Uh,
he's
oh,
got
I
some
see
basic
what you
carpenter
mean, though,
skills.
because you can. I gotcha. So it's not like you want to do across the board for all the dwarves. You pick dwarves and then you give them the
You
specializations. So
generally
that's where
want to
you pick five.
specialize a little bit.
Got it. Okay.
The game will
So
by default let everyone do anything they want, and you'll be able to lock them down to saying, "No, no, no, I want all my furniture made by the guy who knows what he's doing, not
uh,
by any random peasant
agreed.
who had nothing else to do but carve a table."
The loser.
You know,
All right.
I don't
So
need somebody who just watched a YouTube video on like 2x4 furniture and he's making like the king's banquet table. And
so
you're like, this looks great. Thanks.
So, in a moment of meta awareness, for those of you who are watching this video, bear in mind you're still not going to be great at Dwarf Fortress. Just throwing it out there. Okay, so he is a skilled carpenter now.
Okay. You still
And
have
I know
6 points to give.
overthinking this, obviously,
You could
but
probably
this is
make him
kind of
maybe
cool.
if you want throw. I don't often, but a lot of people throw points into the woodcutter, saying, "Oh, he's like my maybe he's just my wood guy, right? He's going to cut wood, he's going to carve up furniture for me. I
Yeah,
could even give him wood carving later on, that kind of thing. Maybe he makes bows. You could give him the bowier if you
this
want.
is my guy. He's a woodworker and a carpenter, and there he is. He can chop
Good.
the tree down, he can saw it into pieces, and he can make a nice table.
So what he does, perfect.
All right.
So
Reg Mingamost.
let's talk real quick about other skills you're going to want to bring. You're going
Yep.
to
Okay.
want a planter, okay? Because the better they are at planting, it's right below butcher and below and above brewer. No matter what, planter guy will help you a ton because they get bigger yields out of crops. So instead of
Okay.
him planting and getting one crop, he'll get 2 crops or 3 crops right away. And by the end, he's getting 5 crops per seed. And just one good planter can feed 100 dwarves. So
And
he's the
the
kind of
more they
guy.
do it, the more skill they get in that particular area.
Exactly. So we'll set,
Okay,
hey, he's the only one who touches the crops. No one touches the crops. He's our guy.
got it.
Now, another skill I often give my planter for when he's not doing stuff is maybe he's my brewer.
Hmm.
That's a good use of his time. Or you can
Like
make
it.
him a herbalist, which I think is under labor at the top tab under labor, because
Oh,
then he goes picks other wild plants and stuff. So while he's waiting for his crops, he can go out and gather wild blueberries.
sorry, I've got to say, I didn't realize that in addition to these were simply the crucial skills. They
Yes.
weren't the labor, the combat, or the other, which
Yeah.
I have to take a look at here real quick. Oh, good. Okay, back to crucial. Let's focus in, Mike. Focus in.
Focus. It's fine.
Okay. So I have made Reg. I liked the idea of him being a farmer and a brewer because that's like harkening back to the founding of the country right here.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm with you,
Now,
Reg.
so here's what I think the next guy you want to make is a stone carver, right? Because you're gonna want
Okay.
someone who carves all your stone furniture. He's gonna make the stone tables and chairs. He's gonna make
Sounds amazing.
statues. So
Oh,
you can make
whoa.
him your stone carver, and if you want, you can also make him a stone crafter. So
Yeah, I
now he's
was
also
going to
making the other
say.
stone trinkets.
Now, what about stone cutter? Can I
So
make him a little bit of a stone cutter too?
sure, the Stonecutter's new in this version, and they're the one who make stone blocks that you can do construction out of. If you're going to build
Oh my
walls, he's going to
goodness.
make the bricks for that, basically.
This guy is all about the rock.
All about
That's
the
how I'm
rocks.
putting him. There he
Good.
is. And I got one more. And guess what, buddy? You're done. You're the rock
Okay.
guy. All right. On the globe, Shorastkin.
So we probably need, and I made a video and I said not to do this, but we're going to do this because this is how newbies play.
That's
You're gonna
wonderful.
you're gonna want a couple miners, right? So at the very top, you're gonna be digging a lot. A skilled miner, a couple skilled
That
miners
makes sense to me.
dig faster. And since you're not going to be as efficient with your digging yet in your geometries, having the ability to dig out areas quickly will help you.
My
So I
geometries.
often make them miners, and then when they are done with that, I like to make them engravers. So I call them kind of my builders. So they dig stuff out. All right, you dug out the hall. Now pretty it up a bit for me. And so their job is to always kind of work with the pick, and they carve out rooms and they make them
Now,
decorative.
what does making it pretty help with? Does it make the dwarves feel at home, like they're more
Yes. So
comfortable?
so
Okay,
so room value matters. So if you have a room that's just rough stone, you're like, this sucks. If they smooth the walls, you're like, hey, this is pretty nice. If
so
they
why
then carve
can't
a
they
mural in there, you're like, I got a great room. And so and and sometimes once they're like really finely done up to masterwork, dwarves will literally stop, pause, and go, wow, that's an amazing and they'll have a happy thought that they're like, I love seeing that masterwork carving, and it makes them happier.
this is the best. I am really enjoying this already. It is wonderful. All right, so I've got a proficient miner here, and I've got a skilled engraver, but I still have one. Does one skill even like help? Can they pick up new skills, or are they pretty much set
They'll
for this
no,
fall?
they'll pick up tons of skills.
Oh,
As the longer they live, the more they randomly do stuff. They constantly experience builds up depending on the job they're doing. So
okay.
he'll wind up learning other things too, depending on how we set labor values. But this is kind of where I leave him be, and these are the ones I'll lock down.
So I
If you want to
mean,
give him anything, you could probably give him something in stone cutter too, just so
okay,
that he's also around to make more bricks for you and has
yeah,
smooth
yeah.
walls.
I like the sound of that.
And
Okay,
I'd make the next guy basically the same thing. Two good miners
got it.
for your because you got a lot of digging to do at
And that
first.
kind of, yeah, he doesn't have to be as good a miner. Okay. And what else did we say? Engraver. That was
Yep.
the other one there. Okay. And now this guy, though, this guy's going to be the guy that we added the extra stuff on. And now I don't remember what it is. Butcher? Was that what it was? So the other guy had a little dash of butcher thrown in. Should this guy be a planter? Because I didn't give the
No.
planter skills to the other guy,
Don't
right?
waste it on planter, but if you want to do something fun, go to labor.
Okay. Boink. Alrighty.
And one thing that's kind of helpful.
Paper
It,
maker.
well, later on, you could build a library, and you have someone to make
Great.
papers, and then someone who makes the books.
I love this gilder, milker, shearer, spinner. Oh my good God. Okay. All right.
So your miner's going to be pretty busy, but you know what? Later on, you'll probably do some cooking. If you want to give him some skill in cooking,
I do.
that's a great thing for him to later retire to the kitchen and whip up some delicious uh, pig meat and Brussels sprout roasts that everyone will just adore.
I can't
So
wait.
there's cooking. You can put it in
So
there.
it's just cook. Okay. Got it. All
There
right.
you
He's a
go.
bottle washer and he's a competent cook. Okay. Now on to Solon Tathlogum.
So we might want to start talking about some of the other administrative skills.
Combat.
We could
No.
do. I mean, if you want to make a combat, I'm hoping we can generally avoid too much combat right away.
That's very disappointing, John.
No, you know what?
I,
If you're second fort man, we could just embark with 7 axe dwarves and just immediately just dive down to find something to
rampaging.
kill. That's perfectly fine.
I like to have at least one guy who's relatively competent
Who knows
around
what he's
the
doing?
sword.
Okay,
Yes.
then
just,
that
just one.
then
So,
what
like,
you want to do is probably make him an axe dwarf,
okay.
because we'll bring an axe with us anyway. We'll bring a couple anyway for cutting down trees,
He's competent. He's
and
competent.
then give him a point or two in fighter and a
Okay.
point or two in armor user,
All right. Here we go. And
and
armor.
that'll make him a pretty well-rounded uh, fighter there.
Should he
And
be a biter as well? This is hilarious.
actually, wrestler's pretty handy because often they can maybe disarm their opponents
Okay.
and put them into holds and
Here it
then
is.
crush their skull in with their weapon. So, so
This sucker is competent at wrestling.
we'll make him your militia commander as soon as we land, and then he'll spend
Fantastic.
most of his time just walking around doing stuff.
I'm
So
loving it. I'm loving it. Okay. Now we're on to Toulon Idromzephon.
now
Okay.
I like to have a guy with some decent trader skills, so when the traders show up, I don't get completely ripped off. So go to other, and the other tab, and go to Judge of Intent, and give like at least 1 point in Judge of Intent.
Good Lord.
That tells you whether or not the guy's willing to trade with you or not.
My guy's adequate at this. And I'm
And then I
proud of
want you to give at least
soft
1
skills.
point in Appraiser,
Okay.
just below that one. It was just below Judge of Intent.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Here we are.
That way he knows actually how valuable things are.
That is
And you
helpful.
can give him 1 point in Negotiator so he can begin learning how to not get completely ripped off by the traders. It generally, if they have no skills at all, you have to pay at least double because you trade goods. There's no money, but you say, hey, I'll give you 1,000 dwarf bucks worth of stuff to get 500 dwarf bucks worth of stuff back. As you become a better negotiator, and now the social skills kick up, eventually you get to kind of 1 for 1, and so you can make better deals.
Where's negotiating? So I'm
Back up.
using. I can
There it
already
is.
see.
It's the third one down underneath
Got him.
persuader.
Here he is. Okay. I'm gonna make him adequate. He's adequate at negotiating. Crutch walker. Okay. I'm getting distracted. I'm sure I'll find out what a crutch walker is later in the. Should he be a persuader as well?
So he
Or
can be. The other
organizer?
things that are useful is having an organizer, because we can make him your manager, and that'll be kind of critical to the well-run
Your
fortress.
manager.
They
Okay.
and now you'll notice he changed from peasant to administrator.
There he. That's my boy right there. Promoted for no reason at all.
Now, if you really want, and he's just going to kind of be the social guy, you can give him a couple things like consoler, pacifier, schemer, and when they'll probably make him the leader of this group at first.
There.
When dwarves get really upset, they go find the leader and they either yell at him because they're angry, or they cry on his shoulder, and he can, with these skills, he can make them feel better.
Oh, good. All right. That gives me some comfort here.
All right, so you've now completed one of the 3 tabs getting ready for embark. We're only 35 minutes in. You're almost ready to play the game.
This is amazing. I feel like we're going at breakneck speed. If I didn't have you here, it would take me all day.
Well, that's why people just say they just click the sure tutorial, and you get what you get. You don't get upset, as I say to my kids.
And you don't get upset. And does that ever work for your kids? Just
No.
out of curiosity? Never worked for mine either.
No. Okay.
All right, so I'm into items now.
So this is the standard fit out they've given you, is that you have some seeds for the various underground crops.
Okay.
We will not be planting most of these. Get rid of the dimple cups.
Okay, dimple cup spawn. Okay.
Yeah, that grows mushrooms you can grind down to dye your cloth. You're not going to be doing that. Just the minus it. Keep minus to 0. There you go.
Okay, it's gone. It's done. Okay.
Why don't you build up the plump helmet spawn to something like 10 or 15?
I'm so glad this is being recorded. Okay. Because just to hear you say that is the best part of my day. All right. 15 plump helmet spawn. Okay.
Now, you'll need the anvil. That's good. The axes. I like to have every dwarf have either a pick or an axe. So you've got 2 miners, so we can leave 2 picks. But if you want, bring 1 extra pick and 2 extra axes. And now you can assign somebody else to mine when they're not doing anything else. And we can if you assign a dwarf to be a woodcutter, even if it's nothing to cut, he'll carry an axe around anyway. And if he happens to come across, if something attacks him, he won't have to punch to death. He'll go, oh, I'm carrying an axe, and he'll chop his head off.
There it is. Now, it says copper battle axes, and I would not necessarily have thought of copper as the thing for battle axes.
Well, it's not.
Is that just what it's okay?
So go over on the available items side. If you go at the top, you are the search little bar there.
Okay.
Over to the right, and just type axe. AX. And you'll see there's the different types of axes. But if you look at the costs of them, if you want to bring the iron axe, it's 100 points. It is much better. If you wanted to bring something, the bronze axe is very close to the iron axe, and it's half the points.
So can I just completely zero out the copper battle axes and do 2 bronze?
Sure.
Yeah.
You've got. If you see, you have 400, and you now have 519 points. So you can bring some bronze axes.
We're gonna throw that sucker in there.
You just put the copper axes back in.
Yeah. Oh. I'm playing with your mind, John. That's all it is. Bronze. Here it is. Bronze battle axes. Just
there you
like
go.
Old, wherever the hell it was. Okay. Troy.
Now hit the backspace button 3 times to clear out axe.
Good.
So now, if you want, the next section we have is drinks. They bring you 60 drinks. That's enough to get you through the first, 4 months, 5 months without having to brew anything on your own.
If you want to bring, so
you have a brewer. So we just need to bring stuff to brew. So it's easier to bring more stuff to brew than to bring more drinks. So you're probably fine with your 60 drinks. We'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. All right.
Next, you start bringing some food. So they apparently bring you 15
Starts.
prepared ibex hearts,
That's delightful.
everyone's
And lobster.
favorite.
Cave lobster.
So I want you to eliminate the cave lobsters
Okay.
because they'll need to be prepared.
Okay.
So we're gonna make it easier on ourselves. Get rid of those.
All right. They're going the way of the dodo. Sorry, cave lobster, and done. Okay.
There you go. Now on the other side, I want you to scroll down under available items, and we're gonna look for garden vegetables.
Garden.
Keep going.
Just can I ask, is
There it
this
is.
specifically to keep them healthy? I mean, are my dwarves really in
No,
need of
no,
really
it's because this is the best deal in the game.
Okay.
Okay. So I will generally bring they got cranberries, they got raspberries. They're also 2 points. And when they eat them, you can either turn them into more alcohol because you can brew them, or you can eat them raw. And when you eat them raw or brew them, you get seeds and you can have an above ground farm to grow more of those.
I'm loving this already. What if I do 20 cranberries because I like cranberries?
That sounds great. I sometimes bring 40 and I turn half of them just into drink. So
Good man. Very proud of you, John. Now, I wouldn't do that with caperberries necessarily, I guess. What's a bilberry? Is a bilberry good? Have you had bilberries?
it looks blue,
I
and
want it.
blue is
I want it,
tasty.
and I'm gonna have it.
Sure.
This is I'm having way too much fun clicking something to add it to a number on the left side of the screen before the game starts.
Now, I would normally not bring a lot of the rest of the crap,
Yeah.
but I think we'll bring most of it just to have a standard embark, except for I need you to get rid of at least 2 of those buckets because they are the most overpriced things, except for the thing at the very bottom, which we're definitely going to get rid of.
These birchen buckets.
Yeah, bring one.
One.
Okay.
One bucket. Okay.
Splints are overpriced, but that's fine. Get rid of the step ladder and the wheelbarrow. We will make those when we get there.
I always feel like I'm in need, and I'm not joking about this. I always feel like I'm in need of a wheelbarrow.
So no, we're gonna make 3 or
Okay.
4 wheelbarrows, but we could just
Okay.
we
My
could buy.
my dwarf life is in your hands, John.
Okay, back under available items, scroll back up,
Okay.
and we're looking for wood. It's the 5th item down.
All right. I got your wood. Oh,
Wood is only 3 points, and it takes 1 wood to make those items. So you
much
could bring.
wood.
Well, and each one has its own density calculation. So I often bring willow because it's almost always available and it's the lightest weight. Since you're going to make things like bins and barrels and wheelbarrows out of them.
Does this go in order of its weight? Because I mean, walnuts are pretty hard wood.
No, I don't know what this. I don't know what this order is set aside by.
Pecan wood, maple log, birch log. All right. So what do you recommend here?
I always bring willow.
Okay.
It's
one
of the lightest woods, and I would bring 20 of them.
Okay.
We're probably near forest, but here's my general think is that if I get in trouble right away, I know I have 20 logs I can immediately make a bunch of beds out of, bins out of, and wheelbarrows out of without anyone cutting down any wood. So it's cheap.
This is great.
Okay. Now, one other item that I want us to bring that you should always bring is go over to your search bar and type lie, Lye, and bring 5 of those.
Okay. Is that what are we doing with the lye?
Once we have an animal we slaughter and get the fat from the animal, processed it to tallow.
Okay.
We make it into soap.
Nice.
Make it into soap. Lye is a pain in the ass to make, and it's dirt cheap at Embark, so I always bring enough to make many bars of soap.
But it gets more expensive if it's rare or something. Is that what happens?
Well, you can make fancier soap out of fancier animals, and it becomes more valuable. And in fact, you could also use it as a building material because the game considers it a bar, so you could actually make workshops out of soap. Some people use it to store their soap in constructions that way. It's really weird. I don't know why, but they do. Some people have joked they've made like castles out of soap because they just slaughtered like hundreds of turkeys and then made soap.
Well, what else are you gonna do? You do it for Thanksgiving and make yourself a nice castle, and then
a nice puppy soap castle. Who doesn't like a good puppy soap castle?
I'm a sure fan.
Okay, now let's leave this here for a minute and go up to animals.
Oh boy!
Now there's a few animals you can bring with you.
Wait, these are pets, right?
These are all tame animals. So I'm not going to use the word
I don't
pet.
like where this is going. Dog, puppy, hunting.
All of them are tasty.
Oh,
Some of them are also more useful for other things.
oh no, there's so many. Look, a water buffalo cow, I get. A drake, but a dog, a puppy.
Well, I
Okay,
mean, they're
that's
they're
enough
multi
for
they're
me.
multi-purpose. They
I,
breed quick. They have a lot of bones, useful for making things out of, like bolts out of.
stop this. Hey,
Okay, fine.
stop fucking.
Okay, bring a couple dogs. I bring two females, two males, because you'll be able to use them for guard dogs and train them
Oh,
into
I see.
hunting dogs.
Got it. Okay,
You see dog. Okay,
I'm
uh,
seeing it. Should I bring a
bring
hunting dog?
no. We'll train hunting dogs. No
Okay,
reason to pay for that.
gotcha.
Uh, I'm so cheap at Embark. It's ridiculous. Uh,
All right. So now
bring
our cats.
bring a couple male cats.
All
If
right.
okay, well, you can bring a male and a female, and they will have like two kittens a season, and then eventually you turn around and you have like 50 cats killing your frames per second. And cats are a funny animal because you can set other animals to be available for adoption. Like so dogs you leave as strays, or you can say, hey, if anyone wants this dog as a pet, they can have it. Cats pick their owners, and then once they pick their owners, you can't slaughter them. So sometimes you'll be carrying a cat to kill him, to slaughter him, to make soap or something, and he'll be like, "Oh no, actually, I love you," and they're like, "Well, now we can't kill him," and
But not dogs. Dogs
but
you can
not
kill at
dogs.
any time. Of
Dogs happily follow you over to the butcher.
This world is ruthless. It's like Game of Dwarves.
So let's scroll down and look at the various poultry options
Okay.
you have at the very bottom. You generally all the chickens and the turkeys, they're all 6 points.
Okay.
The turkeys lay the most eggs, so if you want eggs, fresh eggs on a regular basis, they're awesome for making eggs.
Okay.
Uh, Chickens are basically the worst bird because they're small and they don't lay enough eggs.
I agree.
Peacocks are just cool, and I often go with peacocks.
Strutting around.
They lay eggs. If you don't pick up the eggs and they hatch, you get new peacocks, obviously, and they mature in a year, whereas turkeys take 2 years to mature. So I like peacocks a lot.
So we'll
But
say like
bring a
two
couple turkey hens for eggs,
turkey
sure,
hens. Okay.
and then
And but not a gobbler. I don't need a gobbler.
well, do you want to make more turkeys? Or you just want
You
the
know what?
eggs?
I'll make some turkeys. I'll make some turkeys.
Okay,
One.
good,
Super
good.
happy. I think. Lad.
Should only
Okay.
should only need one as long as he's into that sort of thing, and they do take that into account. And you can have gay animals who are not interested.
I'm very proud of this game. Way to go, game. All right, so poultry is just general here. So I'm a little bit lost because aren't there chickens in here? Or is that
Yeah,
the
they were further up. No, a poult is that's
Oh,
a
that's
baby turkey.
Yes. Okay. All right. So you said peacock, right?
Yeah.
You got a peacock
So
and a
peacock and
chicken.
peahens. So if you get like same thing as you do with turkeys, you get one peacock, and then right above that is a peahen.
Okay, and they'll breed and make delightful, beautiful. Oh, my mouse! Good lord. Okay, so I'm looking at a blue peacock here, right? Is that what I'm
Yep.
looking at? All right.
Yep. So get one of those, and then once you click
Now
the
I want
arrow up one,
hen.
there you go. And there's the
Okay.
peahen right there. Grab two of those.
All right, got
Okay.
that.
So now you have a nice little poultry industry going.
Oh, all right. Yes, I got my turkeys. I got my peacocks. I'm
Okay.
feeling good.
Now you could also bring like pigs with you. Don't bother with bunnies. If you slaughter them, all you get is the skull. And while you can make totems out of that, it's interesting to decorate in bunny skulls, and they breed like rabbits. So you can have a lot of bunny skulls decorating
No
everything.
kidding.
It's
It's not worth it. All right. So wait, should I? I guess I should bring a sew. What a sew and a board.
yeah, you could bring one of each of those, and we'll get some more pigs. That's a good
Okay,
idea.
Here we go. That's
Okay.
breeding
So
country right
so
there.
that's a good, and you'll wind up with two draft animals anyway who pull your cart, and when your cart breaks down, you'll have two random large herbivores that can be delicious or left outside as an early warning system when goblins show up.
When they're slaughtered and the sounds of their dying wake us up. All right, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
hold
Okay.
on. What about cows? Do we need milk? We must need milk, right?
So you
Something.
can so you don't need anything, but milk is great because you can make cheese. So but
Cheese.
easy
They are
hack though is that
151
pigs
points.
can also be milked. and they don't need to have pasture, so they can live underground. And
Uh,
so if you like a good cheese industry, you want to bring like 3 or 4 good pig sows.
pig
And
cheese.
pig
They want
yeah.
to eat pig
Mmm.
cheese. Now,
Nothing. I
having said that, that sounds delicious. Now that I've said it out loud, and also disgusting.
best part of waking up is a warm cup of pig cheese.
I went down to the pig in the basement. It's totally pale because it hasn't seen the sunlight, and squeezed the crap out of it. That's good
Mm,
dairy.
that's good.
Oh, this is
So
depressing.
you could also, bring a goat instead. But the problem with the larger herbivores, you need to leave them above ground and like build a place for them to be safe because they
Yeah,
need to
that takes
graze.
time.
So I wouldn't worry about grazers yet. Right now, you have no grazers. Everything you have right now doesn't actually eat by the game. You can just
Okay.
gotta leave it in a small room underground and use it for product.
This is messed up, man. This is the free market at its worst.
Yeah,
All right, so no goats, none of that kind of
not
stuff.
for now. We could, later on, if you want an entirely goat-based fortress, that's an entirely reasonable thing to do.
Goat Fortress. Actually, I feel like that's already a game.
Okay.
Goat
So you
Fortress.
now have, you see, points left. You have 235 points left because points are spread between items and animals.
I
So we can go back
desperately
to
want an
items. We
alpaca.
can bring more alcohol. We can
Oh,
bring.
yes, let's do
Um,
that. Where's the alcohol?
okay, actually, there's still a drink you haven't brought yet. So if you want full, yeah, there you go. You haven't brought the beer yet, so you can bring 20 of beer.
Yes, I can.
So start clicking on those. It's in your. You have to scroll up on your other left side
Oh,
to see how many you
no.
have.
Oh, geez. I saw the points going down, but I saw nothing. I'm like, no.
There you
Why
go.
is it taunting me? All right, where's my dwarf beer?
Oh, okay.
Drinks. Here
So
we
there
go.
you got ale, rum, and beer. Clear out the beer. Hit backspace 4 times.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I guess it's not clicked over there.
That's
Click over on beer. It looked
okay.
like the sprinkler was on, but
Dwarven beer. Okay. Dot, 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 dot.
and if you just go to
Okay.
drinks, scroll down to drinks, you'll see you're still
Oh,
missing
get to it. Got it.
dwarven wine.
Right. Dwarven wine. Not something I would have associated. Now, where is my.
It's probably closer to the top.
Wait.
There it is, underneath instruments.
Here. Dwarven
There you
wine.
go. Okay,
Okay. So.
so throw in 20 of those.
Aw, yeah. As I tap away. Oh, this is amazing. Okay.
Okay.
Should I bring 25 or just 20?
Well,
Just 20?
so
You want to
so
overdo
the power gamers say always bring like 21 because then you get a free barrel that only has one drink in it.
it. There
But
it is. The
free
power gamer emerges.
free barrels are free barrels, man. Um, so one thing I like to bring, and this is it seems extravagant, but search for mugs and bring everybody their own mug to drink out of. Because if they don't have a mug, they'll complain about having to drink without a cup. Right?
Dude, I'm
They
with
they
you.
just they just shove their head in the barrel and take a big swig. And so for sanitation purposes, I burn 70 points to bring everyone their own mug, and everything's fine for a long time.
I
Now
have. I happen to have it, so let's do it. All
they
right,
have
fine.
fancy mugs. They have unfancy mugs, depending on the stone it's made of. 10 points, though, it doesn't matter what they drink out of. So,
10 points, you think? Yeah.
well, I
Well,
find a 10, I find a 10 pointer like the chert or,
okay.
you know,
I was gonna spring for the chalk, but then again, I don't know what beer would taste like in a chalk mug. So,
yeah.
and I know I'm thinking that through a bit much.
Nah, it's fine.
All right, so I've got 7 guys, right? Do I have 7 guys? I
Yep.
think I have 7 guys. Seven
So we
guys
don't,
for 7 mugs. 7 mugs
there you
for 7
go.
guys.
So you got 113 points left. So we can,
Okay. We're gonna splurge. Is what we're
we
gonna
can
do.
bring
What
some
about?
leather with us. Leather's always handy.
Yes.
So you bring
We're gonna
5 more
bring.
leather of something or other.
I think we're gonna do that. We had ibex hearts. So how about
The animals they went
5?
with.
Keep the set. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Let's see here. How about? I mean, should we bring cloth like
I
pigtail
think you're
cloth?
already bringing some cloth, but you could bring some silk with you is a good idea.
Let's bring some silk. Let's get
And whoa, not that one. Bring the 7-point one. You don't need to.
Twenty
Whoa,
ones.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
That's a
whoa,
bit
whoa!
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
And you can also, if you scroll down, you'll probably find well, yarn and wool yarn.
Where's my yarn
Uh,
here? You know
just
what?
search for
Sheep wool yarn,
yeah.
llama wool yarn, and alpaca. Okay.
So those are good. If your dwarves sometimes get in a special mood, they want to make something they've had in their head. They need to make a masterpiece of some sort. They'll ask for random things, and having a little bit of wool, a little bit of silk means that they won't freak out because you don't have it, and they can be hard to get later on.
Well, thank God. Yeah, there's only so many alpaca. Although I was thinking about purchasing one and bringing it with us, but I feel like you would rip it apart and eat its heart. And I don't want to do that yet.
Just
Or
so
use it for
tasty.
milk. I want its heart. Give it to me. Or its wool.
So
All
you've
right.
got 30 points left. We could scroll up, see if there's anything else you want to plus up to bring.
Let's check it out here. Do we need middle bars for anything? Is there a
We'll
reason
make
to
our
have
own, but yeah, actually, a good thing to bring to kick things off though is search for coke,
Okay.
COKE,
Yeah.
and bring a couple of those because you'll use those to begin the process of smelting ore. So
Well,
especially if we find coal, you need a first fuel to make, and that's all your points.
that's my
You've
points.
got everything you need to survive. We're an hour in. I think you're
Are
almost
we
ready to play the
seriously?
game.
Oh my God. I can't. Are we really? We are. Oh my God. Wait, there's still more stuff down here. Fortress name,
Well, yeah.
name group
So
symbol.
we can come up with your fortress name now, or you can be surprised when you embark.
I want to be surprised. I
Good.
do. I'm a fan of
Then
surprise.
all you need to do is click that embark button, my friend.
Do I save profile? I don't save the profile.
So that'll save your current pick of items. I've done that, but at the same time, this is one of my favorite parts of the game. So I really just enjoy repicking and shopping through.
Save profile.
There you go. Okay, now you can embark.
And we're preparing the map, and
It's going to take a moment.
so long. These are my guys. Look at them all. This is hilarious. Oh, that bar is still not across though. It's jugging.
You guys aren't actually standing on the lake when it thaws, or the river. That'll be fine. That's fine. It's all good. Okay.
I've seen that meme. It's fine. Everything's burning, John. You have arrived after a journey from mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Thank you. Your party of 7 is making an outpost for the glory of all Bothananod.
That's your civilization.
Bothananod. I love that. There are almost no supplies left. But with stout labor comes sustenance. Yes, thank you. Would my bolt, plow, or hook provide for your dwarves? You're expecting to supply caravan just before winter entombs you. But it is spring now. Thank you. Enough time to delve secure lodgings here. The dingoes get hungry. New chapters here at Lungamdustic. Painted boars strike the earth.
So the name of your fort is now Painted Boars, your first fort.
All right, man. This is awesome. Yes.
All right. So quick controls.
Yes.
WASD moves around just like with the map, right?
Yep.
So you're moving around there.
There we go.
If you hit the F1 key, you jump back to your initial state where the caravan is.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to try the function here.
There you go. Okay. So if you get lost, you see the mini map up top, obviously where you are. If you push the E and the C button up and down, you go up and down in Z levels, right? So now you're climbing up. You see the tops of trees. Down in the ground, you don't see what's going on.
That's very cool. Okay. Awesome. Fascinating.
Scroll down into the ground 1.
Okay.
Into the ground 1. Okay. So right now you can't see, but there should be on the screen a river, but because it's frozen, you can't see it. That's how you accidentally have floodings. So we want to be careful of that. So go back to the rain level. Now, if you move your mouse around, whatever you hover over, we'll get some information about. So see that snow-covered ice? Where it says snow-covered ice? That was very dangerous because when that thaws, it'll suddenly turn into water, and anyone on top of it will fall into said water.
That is fascinating because that absolutely happens.
So,
okay.
So now before we do, so make it sense, and you can see the circles are obviously the tree trunks.
See how it's yes.
So
I'm being overwhelmed by this. I love it. Okay. Yes,
bottom left, all the way bottom left, you'll see a little face of a dwarf. Click on that.
Open the citizen.
Those are your citizens. You can see what they're planning on doing. As soon as it unpauses, they're going to go pick up some equipment. Those are the 2 miners and the woodcutter. See how they have their little pickaxes next to them? They've been
I
assigned
do.
picking. Now, there's one guy listed for fishing. We don't want him to do that.
All right.
So
So this,
at the very top tab, you'll see labor.
okay, got it.
Okay. Some work details, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Don't show again. Okay. All
So
right.
right
Here's
now,
the
these are for miners. So it has picked your 2 miners, and right now only the select to do this. So it won't let other people do that job.
got it.
Woodcutter, click on that.
Okay.
Same thing. Right now you have 1 woodcutter.
Yep.
Only selected will do that.
Okay.
The next one, go down to hunters.
Got
Say
it.
nobody does this for now. You don't want anyone deciding they're going to go hunting.
Okay.
No, click it to see it says nobody does it.
Oh, got it. Okay. Nobody does this.
Go
Okay.
to planters.
Oh, because they might automatically reassign.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it says everybody does this, then the first person who's available to go do a job will go do it, which can be beneficial for a lot of things, but certain things you want specialists in, and mining is probably one of them.
Now, shouldn't my fisher guy be the planter?
Yes. So click on that.
Gotcha.
And see, like I said, only selected does this. Now he's the only one who's going to do that. Next, go to Fisher Dwarf and say nobody does this for now.
Okay, and that'll take
Now,
away.
Yeah, you can uncheck him too, so that he's just hey. And
Yeah.
fishing
Which
is
I like,
awesome.
keeps it-
Fishing can be overpowered if done right. If done wrong, your dwarves wander off into the enemy, going off to go fishing right into the goblin horde. So
Not go the bay. Okay. Now,
Okay.
plant gatherer, should I also throw him in there as like a backup as
So
well?
right now everyone will do this. So if you tell everyone, hey, go gather, wild blueberries. Right now, everyone will go out and gather wild blueberries. We'll leave that as is. Right now, only stonecutters. If you go to engravers, you might want to set that to only the guys you gave skills
Yeah, because
to.
I had the guy that's
You
okay.
have 2 guys you gave skills to, so maybe they'll only do that.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty much
I
what you wanted to do there.
Okay.
And one more thing before we do anything, click on the kitchen sub-tab.
Okay, kitchen. I'm sub-tab.
So these are all. So right now there's 2 boxes at each one, whether you're allowed to be cooked, allowed to be brewed.
Okay.
So you probably want to turn off if you under plump helmets to cook plump helmets. So you can brew it is fine. If you cook something, you don't get any seed from it. We want the plump helmets when we eat them or cook them to have more seed to plant more plump helmets.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
I'm totally with you here. But now, okay, so these are my other seats. Got it. Okay.
Now, top nobles and administrators, top tab.
My one guy. Nope. Okay. All right, here we are.
It picked your one guy to be the expedition leader.
The one who we thought.
People we want to pick right away. Your militia commander. Click on plus.
And we want that guy that I made a.
I think he's currently listed as the peasant because he didn't have any other.
Poor sucker.
Okay, he's now your militia commander. Don't worry about sheriff or hammerer for now. And yes, the hammerer does the justice with the hammer. The manager, click on that. We'll make
organizer. Didn't we have an organizer?
Yes, see, it says you have an adequate organizer at the very top. It put Tolan on top.
Okay.
Click on his name. He's your adequate organizer.
All right.
Also, click on broker.
Okay. That's my guy.
You gave him all those skills, and you might as well make him your bookkeeper too.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
So find Tolan on that list.
Right, just because he is now the expedition leader, the manager, and the bookkeeper, and the broker. This is problematic.
Well, you know what? This is not a democracy.
This guy is graft for sure.
All right. So right click. You're now ready. I think an hour and 3 minutes in to begin the game. And do you want to begin by digging down or digging into a mountain?
We're actually going to need to pause now because I have to go upstairs.
So, all right. So
we're going to break here now.
We're going to break here. That's a great place. You've done nothing in an hour but prepare to embark. I love it.
An hour of my life has been spent checking the boxes, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's great. So in that case, everybody join us next time when we actually learn to begin digging a dwarf fortress. and Mike will learn the glories of micromanagement.
I can't wait.
So,
This, by the way, I highly recommend this because it actually is absolutely awesome. I really am loving this. I see why you get such a kick out of this, and I haven't even played the game yet.
yeah, exactly.
All right, all
So,
right.
until next time, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a week or two.
Adios.
Bye.